Michigan and run the campaign. Welcome back to our Click on Detroit webcast. We are now 1 hour into what will be a 4-hour marathon here, and we are obviously going to be following the presidential election very closely. One of the key things that we're asking is, how did we get here in the first place? And what happens after today, once we've decided who is going to be the next president? And the polls will be closing. They are closing right now. What we do know is that there are some extraordinarily long lines in some polling places in Washtenaw County, in Wayne, and in Macomb, that we haven't seen quite the turnout that we expected to see in Macomb. And the lady sitting next to me might have some concerns about that. She is Lena Epstein. She is one of the Trump co-chairs here for Trump, Michigan. Good to have you with us, Lena.
Thank you, Guy. Thank you for having me.
So I know that there are some key areas you were watching. I know that Macomb County was very important to you.
Yes.
It did not appear, at least in discussing with the people that I was talking to there, that it would be much more than 2 points above what we saw in 2012.
Yes.
Is that cause for concern for you? Now that the polls have closed and we can talk a little bit more about this, we can assume the folks at home have already gone to the polls.
Sure. Well, the night is still young.
It is?
As you said, the lines are very, very long. And
you've already got 3 states in the column.
We do. We're very happy about that. And but I will say, as far as Macomb County goes, there was a lot of absentee voting, and those numbers we are still waiting on. And so I think that it is way too early at 8:01 or 8:02 to be speculating on Macomb or the state of Michigan at all.
Okay, I'm not speculating. I'm talking about, these were hard numbers. The clerks were saying that up through 5 o'clock, what they had in terms of absentees.
Right, but there's a big,
turnout.
but this is also, Macomb County is also a county where a lot of people work until 5 o'clock. So I'd be very interested in seeing between 5 and 8 what exactly happened. A lot of people that work for me that live in Macomb County, for example, went directly to the polls right after work.
I know that there were some long lines there, and there was, at least on an absentee side, an increase. I think someone tried to speculate that it was as much as 100% increase in absentee, and that wasn't the case, but it was more than 10%. That had to be encouraging.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have had unprecedented numbers in that regard. Mr. Trump and the entire Trump campaign within the state of Michigan is very optimistic about tonight. We're very excited. We've seen the momentum. We've seen Mr. Trump.
Well, you saw the state come into play.
Absolutely.
Did you ever expect that in your wildest dreams, that this would become a battleground state in the waning days of the campaign?
I did not. Honestly, I was pleasantly surprised. In the final weeks, it was some of the most exciting political moments of my life and of the Trump campaign's entire experience.
What internally happened, because I know you were privy to some information, at what point did you sense that Michigan was in play, and why?
At what point did I sense that Michigan was in play? It was approximately 10 days after the 2005 leaks occurred. And we were spending all of our time defending Mr. Trump and some of the inappropriate
You're talking
things.
about the famous Billy Bush tape.
Yes.
Okay.
And that was an all-time low, and there was a turning point that went in our favor the moment that the bad news about Obamacare came out and the FBI investigation reopening reoccurred.
It was the double whammy.
Exactly. So we went from a really, really, really dark place and a difficult place, a time that we as a campaign needed to rally together, and we felt a tremendous momentum, and then the numbers started to move in our direction in polling, and it kept moving, and then all the surrogates kept coming. And as you know, Ivanka was here, and Eric was here, and Donald Jr., and
well, Monday
Pence.
They could have had a Trump reunion here.
Yes.
I mean, they could have had a family reunion.
They could have had family
Eric was
dinner.
the only with the prodigal son that wasn't here.
They could have had family dinner in Bloomfield Hills.
Let's talk about, if this goes your way this evening, where we go from here. We've talked a lot about healing.
Yes.
We have seen again and again in ads a montage of offensive and insulting things that sometimes your candidate has said about various ethnic groups, mocking people, disturbing images. You would say that isn't the real Donald Trump? Or how does he mend fences coming out of that?
Sure, and this is something that you and I have talked about before on the air. Mr. Trump is not the candidate of choice because he is so eloquent and always says the perfect thing. Mr. Trump is the candidate that will lead our country to a stronger economy. But it's more than just not saying the perfect thing. It's mocking a disabled man. It is calling Hispanics rapists in a general sense. I have never, ever once apologized or tried to explain an inappropriate comment from Mr. Trump.
Okay.
I want to be really clear about that. all the way through this entire campaign, I've consistently said I will not apologize when there's an inappropriate comment. And given that, I still believe and know in my heart, and I believe that the state of Michigan believes and knows in its heart, that Mr. Trump is the best president to secure our borders, create a stronger economy, and protect America's future.
Okay, but at some point, and it shouldn't have to be your task to apologize for him.
No.
Why didn't the candidate ever apologize?
He did apologize for his comments in 2005.
But understood. But in this final walk, in the home stretch, he could have gone out on those few days, and he did a very good job of staying on message. Whoever was coaching him, they got him to be more disciplined.
Yes.
They got him to be more disciplined on Twitter. It's just not as much fun as it used to be on Twitter.
I know, it's a lot more boring, isn't it?
Yeah, and especially for the media that we're looking for a little bit more color. However, he had so many opportunities where he could have said, "Look, folks, what you saw coming off the bus, that wasn't me." And I said some things that were probably too harsh about the Hispanic community. I've said some things that were too harsh about the Muslim community. Do I still think that we have to secure our borders? Do I still think we have to do this? Yes. But this is not about fighting Americans. It's about addressing our problems. Why didn't he ever say that?
You know what? That would be a good question to ask him.
But isn't that something you were looking for?
Not necessarily, no. No. I think that Mr. Trump is Mr. Trump. And I've said this from the very beginning, and I know you're not enjoying this answer, but it's the truth.
Oh, it's not whether I may enjoy it. Don't leap to conclusions, Lena.
The reason that Donald Trump is the best candidate for president is not because he would make a great Sunday school teacher. The man has, at times, said or done inappropriate things.
But don't you expect our president also to be role models? And
let's turn it back to Hillary Clinton, though, and ask the same questions, though. Let's take a moment, though, and talk about some of her indiscretions, inappropriate comments, accusations.
What inappropriate comments?
Deplorables?
Okay, that's what I thought you were saying, but let's
I don't want to be
specify.
called a deplorable. I don't think that's okay, and she certainly
and she apologized for that.
Did she?
Yes, she did.
She did, but did she?
Well, she said, I said that there was 50%, but. She apologized, I think, for painting it as being 50% of the American people.
And you and I both know, Guy, that when there's a but in an apology, it's not a full apology. So I think it's very easy. It speaks to the divisiveness of this campaign season, and how divided as a country that we are. Oh, we're staring at the map. There is some
let's
news.
go over to the map because you've
very
got some news.
excited.
You've got some news that you're going to like. Let's swing over. Donald Trump wins Alabama, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Tennessee. None of them considered battleground states. They are considered reliably red, but there you go. They are now in the Trump column as we had the polls close at 8 o'clock and NBC making those projections. On the other side of the ledger, Hillary Clinton wins Connecticut, Delaware, the District of Columbia, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey. Nothing yet from Ohio, nothing yet from any of the. So Illinois was not one of the blues we were expecting him to flip. In the meantime, we got to look at some of the exit polls. We should also point out, interesting, George W. Bush did not.
Did not vote for Trump.
He did not vote for Trump. Doesn't vote for president at all.
I wonder who he wrote in.
That's an interesting question.
We should find
this
that
is based
out.
on what Rush Limbaugh said earlier this afternoon on WJR, but they are saying that his claims that the Bushes voted for Hillary Clinton is flat out wrong, according to a spokesperson for the former president. So there you have it. As you move forward, what do you think resonated the most as you saw people so angry?
Yes.
What will get over that anger? How can he govern differently?
I had the opportunity to travel the state as Michigan co-chair of the Trump campaign. And the first question that I asked everybody that I spoke to is why? Why are you supporting Donald Trump for president? And if you're not, why are you considering it? And every single person that I spoke to predominantly middle class folks, said that I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, going to work every day, having the same experience every day, and having the opportunities limited in front of me. I am sick and tired of my health care costs going up, my tuition costs for my kids going up. I don't see a better path. I don't see America being competitive anymore. And I think people are just frustrated. And I know in the business community that I spoke to, and I spoke to a lot of business owners being part of the business community, when I asked them why they supported Donald Trump for president, their answer was he will support a 15% corporate tax, he will eliminate the death tax, he will eliminate regulations, he will open up a new healthcare system to this country that will make everything more affordable and accessible to the American people.
And can I tell you that you've just given me more specificity on his tax plan than I heard from him in any debate, any of the 3 debates.
You're just saying that because we like
And
each other, guys.
I'm not buttering you up, but I'm telling you that had the candidate explained, for instance, his child care credit.
Sure.
Had he explained the things that he explained here at the Detroit Economic Club.
Yes.
Why couldn't he seem to deliver his message to people that were concerned about policy,
why
that
he has
just didn't
people
want
like
to
me.
hear that Hillary Clinton's a disaster and that the Democrats are his favorite word? You never heard that kind of specificity on policy, even though a lot of good people went in to try to build some policy,
Sure.
including trying to do something about the inversions that are taking corporate profits and leaving them overseas.
Sure. Well, I had plenty of opportunities to actually witness Mr. Trump speaking on policy topics, and I do believe that he was articulate, especially as the campaign rolled on. I'm thinking about my attendance at the debates, especially the beginning of the first debate was very policy oriented.
Okay, forgive me, I'm just looking.
Sure.
Right now, just 100,000 votes separating Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump in Florida. So a very tight race in Florida, split 49-48 right now.
Yeah.
Marco Rubio just projected to win his Senate seat, to be reelected to his Senate
Excellent.
seat. Is that a harbinger of good things?
Absolutely, we are thrilled about that result. Absolutely, and I'm enjoying watching this in real time with you very much. I'm looking at your other map over here. It looking pretty good. It's a good start to a long night.
Did NBC project for Florida? Why has that turned blue?
That's the AP feed.
That's the AP feed. So the AP has projected for Florida and also Virginia. Excuse me. North Carolina and Florida and Ohio. That would, if that is the case, then that would be the end of the road if you lose Florida and Ohio.
It
correct?
is few minutes after 8.
I understand
It's early on. Every major media channel is going to rush to want to be the first to declare Florida, Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina. So let's be patient, guys. It's going to be a long night.
And right now, with the hard vote in, we've got Hillary Clinton with 53% to 44% for Trump in Ohio. We don't know exactly where that vote has come from. So that's,
Yes.
and we should also say that NBC is calling Florida too close to call. But there you see the map as the Associated Press is now drawing it. In terms of margins, where did you have to do really well in the state of Michigan? Kent
Yes.
County, Ottawa County, and what kind of margins did you need to see that we should be watching for as the hard vote comes in?
We needed significant margins in Macomb as well. And Oakland County.
What kind of a margin did you need, Macomb? What's that?
We're not calling Florida. This AP feed, NBC has not called Florida.
Very
Okay,
good. Thank
so
you.
we just good. And maybe we shouldn't show that map until we get those.
It's so
marked in for
tempting,
AP.
though. It's just sitting right up there.
Well,
my
yeah,
goodness.
it's.
For the
For those that
Michigan
wanna go
Trump
home.
co-chair, I can't take my eyes off of it. As much as I like
know, it's
looking at you.
I'm sure. Yeah, the old goat. And so, what kind of margins are we talking about in Kent and Ottawa County?
I'm not at liberty to say exactly what
Okay, with
percentage
the
point.
internals. With the
It is an internal fact that I'm not able to share tonight. But I will say that we were needing and expecting a significant margin.
Within your campaign, what have you been told about what Donald Trump would do to try to mend fences, to try
Sure.
to heal this country? And we heard from people at your rallies, we heard from people at Clinton rallies, they want to destroy this country. People aren't just saying, I disagree with their policies and I think they're wrong-headed. It is, those people are evil and they want to destroy this nation. That's how siloed we've become.
Yes, I'm glad you asked that question, because what matters is not tonight, but what matters is tomorrow and the day after and the day after. And how are we going to bring this country together? For either candidate, whoever wins tonight is going to have that critical task.
Okay, so how does he mend fence, for starters, let's say, with the Hispanic community?
Okay.
How does he mend fences with the Muslim community?
Well, I've seen him reach out myself directly with the Muslim community and with the Hispanic community. So, and the African American community and the female community. So I've seen him and been part of these conversations. So I think to the broad overarching community, I think there will be a lot of work to do. He's going to need to physically appear in all 50 states right away within a month's time, 3 weeks' time. He's going to have a unity speech that will be beautifully written and explain exactly how his economic plan is going to incorporate so much of all people in the nation. And I think he can do it. He's surrounded by an excellent team.
All right, let me ask you this. If this doesn't go his way tonight,
Yes.
what role does he play going forward? He has had a soapbox. He has started a movement. He has
Yes.
incredible support among people that feel disaffected in the current political
And
climate.
he's expanded the Republican Party as well.
He has, though we'll find out whether he's expanded it enough. We also know that many conventional members of the Republican Party didn't follow, and they may get some of the blame here if he fails tonight. But what might his role be? Has he suggested to anybody what happens to this movement that you are a part of and you've been a
Yes.
leader of
Thank you.
after tonight?
He has, and he has made it incredibly clear that he wants to continue to be a positive part of this nation's future.
I'm not sure that folks would say that it has been a positive experience necessarily for all. How does he use a bully pulpit with the entrenched politicians in Washington? Does he start his own radio show? Does he start his own TV show? Does he start his own TV network? He's a man of means.
Well, it's a good question. It's something that he and I have had an opportunity to discuss together. I think it's up to the big man to decide what he wants to do tomorrow if he loses. But I do, and I've urged him directly, and a lot of us as advisors have urged him to be very regal, and I know that he will be, to handle this presidentially, and I believe that he will.
Okay.
And I'm very optimistic about his performance over the next 48 hours, regardless of the outcome.
I was going to say, because I think a lot of us have wondered, for a man who, even when he has been caught with his facts in error, is reluctant to change them, what a Donald Trump concession speech might look like. He has an opportunity here. We know that Al Gore reached out. We know that John Kerry reached out and did so eloquently
Yes.
in defeat. Whether he'll be able to do that, because that will be very important moving forward as a country looks for healing from one of the most, I know it's been exciting for you, I know it has been fulfilling for you, but for a lot of Americans, there has been discord and disgust at both candidates.
Oh, let me be clear. It has not been always easy for the Trump campaign for myself. It has been a long and arduous road. And I've never felt to be a member of such a divided country as I do tonight.
If this goes sideways in the next couple of hours, you will accept. You're fine with the outcome if it doesn't go your way?
I will be fine with whatever Mr. Trump announces.
Okay, at this point, this campaign doesn't have any challenges in Michigan at this point. We've heard the words rigged election used a lot. Anything that you have seen or heard in the landscape, the Michigan electoral landscape over the past several hours, that would lead you to believe that the Trump campaign has any challenges left or anything that they would undertake here in the state of Michigan?
Not to my knowledge, but that doesn't mean that it does not exist.
But you haven't heard of any?
That is correct.
All right. Lena, thanks so much.
Thank you, Guy.
What you were telling, we want to get a clarification on something, because I've got concerns about this map.
Yes.
So what we are showing here is which way it's going in the hard vote. Those aren't projections from the Associated Press?
Just counted AP numbers currently.
Currently. So in other words, in those states, it's leaning Hillary's way, for instance,
Just
in
the
Florida.
counted votes has Hillary in the lead, but no projections at this time.
Okay. I'm going to need another mode on that.
It's going to be a long
to take some of
night,
those
Guy.
out. Yes, it is. We're going to we have a break, because we actually, do you know that this is sponsored?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's not going to be any more political ads. Thank heavens. Lena, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Okay.
Let's take a short break. We'll be back with more on the live webcast here on clickoutdetroit.com right after this.